Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new malicious compliance content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, "Won't Pay for My Coffee? How about a hotel room, 3-course meal and breakfast?" I used to work for a company in the UK, based in London but with regular travel all around the country. We had very long hours and were required to be on site when work began at 7:30 AM, but you could be hundreds of miles away. You were allowed to stay away, but you had to get approval from a senior manager, usually only agreed through gritted teeth because of the difficult expenses policy and the wrath of the senior manager who approves the expenses. More on this guy soon. I used to get up early, commute all around the country, often doing 2 to 3 hours in the car at a time. Most often stopping to fuel the car or just have a break, usually grabbing some breakfast and a coffee, because I was often leaving the house before it was palatable to eat breakfast. I was young and conscientious, so would buy my own breakfast but buy a coffee separately and keep the receipt for expenses. Usually a £5 breakfast and a £3 coffee. Our expenses policy allowed me to put the whole lot on expenses, but I was conscientious. Anyway, after months of this, I submit my expense claim. My immediate manager approves it without batting an eyelid, as he can see the addresses on the receipts and the timestamps. So once a manager has approved it, the expenses would go to one senior manager to approve, for maybe 200 to 300 claims a week, major trust issues and seriously backwards. One morning, early at head office, the senior manager comes into my office and tells me to follow him. I follow him to his office where he explains to me that the company isn't here to buy me ducking coffees. Long story short, I'm told to stop playing fast and loose with the expense policy, I wasn't, and follow the rules. Here is the malicious compliance. Speaking to HR, they had a policy about work-related driving and DU working time directive, which meant that all the early starts and late finishes had to stop immediately because it was breaching policy and the law. So the next time I had to be on site for 7:30 and was 2 to 3 hours away, I stayed in a hotel the night before, 3-course meal and breakfast, all in line with the expense policy and working time policies. This continued for about a month, because you can only submit expenses for payment in the last week before payday. My expenses went from £100 a month to £1,000 a month. Expenses submitted, manager approved, sent to senior manager. I get a phone call to come to HQ the next day for a talk with the senior manager and HR. The following day I attend, get an absolute roasting. "What the duck did I say? Who do you think you are?" When I could get a word in, I explained how I was traveling in line with company policy, health and safety legislation, whilst also complying with the expense policy, to the letter. HR confirmed. Nothing he could. Needless to say, the policy was changed some months later. I felt much better because I was well rested, fed and working the hours I was being paid for. Next one is titled, "You Need Me More Than I Need You." So a while ago I used to work as a shift manager at a very popular US coffee and donut chain. The owner of this franchise branch was extremely abusive, power-hungry, and sexist, which seems to be a trend on this sub. To put how outrageous her treatment of staff was into perspective, I watched this woman training a new male co-worker once. He messed up a drink and she proceeded to throw the drink on the ground and demand he clean it up. She also demanded we include her when dividing tips up at the end of every night. Pretty sure that's illegal, but hey, I was 17 and didn't know any better. Anyways, I had this 30-something female co-worker with 2 children. She was from India and would always bring a little extra dinner with her when we worked together to get me to try foods from her culture. She was such a sweetheart and a key player in this story. At the time, I had been working there for 3 years. I was a shift manager and was primarily in charge of training new hires for the closing shift. One day, my lovely female coworker comes in extremely upset. She explains that after working 6 days a week every week for the past few months, she was denied off for her son's birthday party. I immediately told her not to worry, as I was free that day and would work for her. No problem. I come into work early the next day when the owner was still in to let her know I would be taking lovely coworker's shift on her son's birthday. Mind you, the date in question was almost a month away, so we were giving her plenty of notice. The owner says that will not be happening with a smile and tells me to get to work. Something about her smile told me she was getting off on denying my coworker this day off with her family. And that crap broke something in me. For the next 3 weeks I stewed. I wrote out my 2 weeks notice and kept it in a sealed envelope in my car. We were short-staffed and new hires needed training, so I decided to stick it out a little longer so that my other coworkers wouldn't have to pick up the slack. One day, I pull in for my shift and see that the owner is in. I walk in and hear yelling from the back. The owner is back there screaming at the group of morning shift workers in what I assume is Hindi. She then dismissed them and starts in on my lovely coworker and another coworker in English about how incompetent they are. At this point I am done. I get between her and my coworkers and go off, telling her that we are all tired of her abuse and that I will not stand to see her targeting lovely coworker anymore, denying her days off out of spite. We go back and forth yelling for a bit and then she says, "If you don't like it, then get out of my sight." I reply, "I quit. You need me more than I need your crap anyway." She smugly replies, "I'll be needing you to hand in an official notice of that. You can come visit me tomorrow in my office." Little did she know, on this particular day I had my resignation letter in my apron. Nothing felt as good as ripping that letter out of my apron and slamming it down on the counter, wishing all of my coworkers the best, and telling the owner to have fun burning in hell. She took me off the schedule for my last 2 weeks, but I heard from lovely coworker that the owner was having to work 12-hour days to work out hiring new people and training everyone who was coming in. Not crazy compliance, but damn, it felt good to stand up for myself. Next one is titled, "You Want Every Request Go Through You?" Okay. I work in a law firm and my job is to prepare legal documents for our clients. We have one client who recently hired an expat to work as its new general manager, whom shall we call Mr. Know-It-All. We never had problems with the logistics with this client before he came along. His first order of business was to email us the following. "Dear law firm. As the new general manager of client, I want all the legal documents being requested by our employees go through me first. I know it is not the standard procedure in our company to copy furnish me when they email you, but do BCC me for every request they send you. All legal documents will now only be made or reviewed upon my approval." We initially complied with his instructions, but it takes days before he gave his approval. Now, I have been working with this client for over 5 years and I know what documents are time sensitive. So, I drafted the urgent documents and BCC'd him with a note that states, "Kindly secure Mr. Know-It-All's approval prior to the execution of this document." After of doing this with some of the request, I received an email from Mr. Know-It-All which states, "Hey, could be any person too. Didn't I tell you that all requests should go through me? No matter how small or urgent it is, I want you to ask for my approval. No exceptions. Please do use the final document I sent you. I don't care about the legal parlance of your country, I want it worded my way. Also, I want all the emails sent by our employees to you printed and handed to me, including those made prior to my employment in the company." Now on to the malicious compliance. What Mr. Know-It-All doesn't know is that contracts must be worded in conjunction with our laws, authorization must contain words that use specific words required by the government agency you are dealing with, and so on. We also bill our clients per page regardless of what it is, we consider it billable. I followed his instructions to the letter. You want every request even if it's urgent go through you? Sure. You want contracts worded your way? Sure. You want authorization worded your way also? Sure. You want all the emails printed? Sure. The results? Contracts that are up for renegotiation and renewal were late or get rejected by the other party due to Mr. Know-It-All's wording, and it cost the client some money. Some government agencies didn't honor some of the letter of authorization, which also cost the client some money. Printed emails also cost the client money. But one particular email I received a few minutes before I go home was worth the malicious compliance. "Dear could be any person too. We would like to request for the attached documents to be made. This will be used for Mr. Know-It-All's working visa. We weren't able to apply for his visa due to the lockdown. We only have until tomorrow to submit the documents." Knowing Mr. Know-It-All wouldn't reply to emails I sent him at least a day after, I requested for his approval the next day. They ended up submitting the documents late and Mr. Know-It-All got fined for it, but not enough for deportation. The client racked up a hefty bill for 1 month, but Mr. Know-It-All toned down after that. Next one is titled, "Warranty Claim, a Quickie." Recently I had to deal with Amazon's Asurian Protection Plan. A relatively expensive Logitech headset of mine had ceased functioning, and after some operation I realized the mute switch inside was faulty. I tried to cash in on my fancy $7 warranty through Amazon, and was told good news. It was still covered through Logitech and I didn't need to use my extended warranty. I was provided a phone number, and being the socially anxious fella I am, I ignored it and searched for a live chat or email. No dice. So, back to Asurian. After some fiddling through their very user-unfriendly website, I found a live chat. After a few minutes of waiting, I managed to connect to a person. There was some back and forth, and I was adamant I wanted to use my warranty that I paid for. I'm sorry, but unfortunately you'll have to go through Logitech. Our warranty only activates after the manufacturer's warranty has expired, unless in the case of accident or electrical damage. Oh. Hold on. Oh no, I dropped it and now it's making a rattling noise. Can I use my warranty now? Let's get started on your claim. I know the chat operator was working by the book, and I feel like they gave me a little hint on what to do, but I was proud of myself. Last one is titled, Double Room It Is. This isn't my story, but my sister's. I saw a post about being bumped to first class and I thought of this. She was working as a desk clerk and training at a big hotel in our state. One weekend, they were overbooked due to a combination of a new booking system and a massive semi-annual religious conference that happens in April and October. A couple shows up on Friday, and they were told about the snafu. You'd think someone in their 50s would know mistakes happen, but no. They kept yelling that they had a double room, and that's what they were gonna get. My sister's manager is there, trying to get a word in edgewise, but they keep replying double room. Eventually she finds a way to excuse herself and speak with another group in line, a family with 2 kids about 10 years old. Speaking loud enough for the old couple to hear, I know you've booked a double room, but there's been a problem. Instead, we would like to take your double room and upgrade you to our presidential suite. It has 4 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, 185.806 square meters, and an on-call, 24-hour butler. Some other perks: the juice minibar was free, can't give away free alcohol in my state, so hotels often had a juice version in addition, 1 meal a day for the party in the hotel restaurant, ran by a Michelin-starred chef, and a private lap pool. The family was ecstatic. My sister relayed that their original room was likely a cheap internet special and all they could afford. The new room and amenities that were offered was usually in the neighborhood of $1,500 a night. She took their basic room keys and had my sister show them where the private elevator that opened to their suite was. She overheard the older couple complaining as she left, and got full details upon returning. They said that they should have been offered that room and tried to raise even a bigger stick as they were there first. I tried several times, but you declined to let me finish. Here, handing them the basic keys the family had are your keys to the double room you wanted. Checkout is at 11. Can I assist you with anything else? They took their keys and stormed off. I mean, they got what they were asking for, both the room and the suite justice. A few hours later my sister laughed uncontrollably when she saw the butler bringing up free ice cream the size of a dinner plate to the room. Enjoy, kids. Thanks for listening.